Welcome to newspaper analysis session for the July 4th. So topics that we are going to cover today, it is about the same thing is in the news. So we have discussed this thing previously about the removal of the Supreme Court judge. So involvement in the corruption issue. So we'll try to discuss this thing and revise this thing again. So today, who were there in the previous session, they have to add inputs. How the removal of the judges happen in India, Supreme Court judges. Okay, today we'll try to discuss about this thing, and we'll see. Government clears indigenous defense procurement worth 1.5 lakh crore, 1 lakh crore. Okay, so we'll try to see what is this, who is the one who clears this thing, and what kind of things that we are acquiring here. Okay, so here there is a talk about the procurement of the indigenous quick reaction surface to air missiles system worth rupees 30,000 crore. So there is also mention about the Apache combat helicopters. So we will try to look at those aspects. Apart from this, we will also look at the aspect of microplastic and endocrine disrupting chemicals that is harming the people. And there was also one of the important article that is talking about, can Supreme Court halt an act passed by the state? Okay. So it is about the Salvajudum. So very important context. And then there is more coming on these health related aspects, especially in India, because there is a rise of these non-communicable diseases, okay, health related issues, fatty liver. These things are rising. India is going to become the obesity capital. So many things are going to happen in this area. So much research and study is going on, and many articles are coming on the health related aspects as well. So we'll try to understand those things and we'll study. Chalo. First thing. So what was the context? Many of you might be aware. So there was some fire accident at the home of the Supreme Court judge. So when they went to handle that aspect, but they found lot of money found over there. So after lot of discussion, investigation has happened, internal investigation. Then they have finally found, okay, the judge might be involved in the bribery or something. Okay, so it is very clear. It is very clearly visible that lot of cash is present in the judge's home. See here, if you hear basically, if any other bureaucrat, any other administrative officer is found of such a kind of lot of money at the home, basically FIR will be launched. The process will go on in a different manner. But for the judges, internal inquiry is happening. Understand carefully. Okay. So previously there was also instance where Chief Justice was facing sexual harassment case. Sexual harassment is such a big case. Even in that case, the inquiry was internal house committee. So they will appoint the committee system. Okay, the same Supreme Court judge has appointed the committee system, and then they have done the inquiry, in-house inquiry they'll call it. So there is a problem of accountability and lack of transparency in the judiciary, and there are corruption related allegations against the judiciary. This year there is going to be some question on the judicial accountability or transparency, because what kind of mechanism do you have to file a complaint against the judiciary? Only mechanism currently is the in-house inquiry, right? Second thing, at max, the punishment that is available is the removal of the Supreme Court judge. There is nothing in between. So far, no judge has been removed. No Supreme Court judge, no motion has been passed, and no judge has been removed so far. So bringing the accountability in the judiciary is a very tough procedure. So there will be the question on these things. There will be question why there is a need for accountability. There is a why need for transparency. Such a major principal organ which is going to ensure the justice, and that itself is facing the corruption charges, and that organization itself is not having any kind of transparency, then it is going to cause problems. Okay. So in this context, this article is also very important. So what is the context here? So Justice Verma, he was through the in-house committee itself, it was finally clear that some amount of money, cash is found at his place. So might be that cash might be acquired through illegal means. No removal has to happen. Only mechanism that is available for the removal is in the constitution. What are the two grounds for the removal of the Supreme Court and High Court judge? Under Article 124, proved misbehavior and the incapacity. On these two grounds only, who will remove the judge? President. President will remove. For that, a procedure has to be followed. Okay, the procedure is passed through the law. That is called the Parliament's Inquiry. Sorry, what is the law is called? Judges Inquiry Act. Where is it? Yeah, it is not mentioned here probably. Okay, there is a law passed. This is the article that is, yeah, it is there here. Judges Inquiry Act 1968. This talks about Judges Inquiry Act. This talks about the procedure for the removal of the judges. So when you make the notes, now same articles are repeating. So what will you mention? Okay, in your notes, only key point: removal, Article 124, subclause 4. Grounds: proved misbehavior and incapacity. How the procedure? What type of the procedure has to be followed? The procedure is through the Judges Inquiry Act 1968. That's it. So as per this act, 3-member body will be formed. So for suppose now why the article is in the discussion, now they are going to initiate that process. In order to initiate that process, if it is in a Lok Sabha, 100 members has to sign. If it is in Rajya Sabha, how many members has to sign? 50. Okay. So this may or may not be approved by the speaker. Once it is approved, 3-member committee will do the inquiry. Okay. Then it has to be passed in that house and it has to go to the other house. Once other house also passes it, finally president will give the sign. So the passage has to go through the special majority. It should be two cases has to be met. Okay. So a majority of the total members of the house, a majority of the not less than the two-thirds of the members present in the voting. For suppose the class strength is 100. Okay. So if the class strength is 100, the first point is a majority of the total membership of the house. Majority of the total membership, class strength is 100. What is our total membership majority means? If the strength is 100? 51. Okay, in the same way for the parliament it is 273. Okay, so this condition has to be met. Second condition is whoever is present within that 2/3 of the majority. This is called special majority. Two cases has to be met. One case is total majority of the total membership. Second is present and voting. It is a 2/3. Two things. Okay. So this is a tough procedure. So only when there is some prima facie is found like this, only then the judges will be removed. Okay. We will call removal of the judges. For the president, we will say impeachment of the president. Okay. Same thing, but just to maintain the dignity of the position, we will call it as a impeachment. Okay, but the procedure is different for the impeachment. There it is 2/3 of the total majority for the removal of the president, remember. So that is by far the difficult procedure. 2/3 of the total majority. Here it is 2/3 of the present and voting. For suppose out of 100 members, only 10 members are present. 2/3 of the 10 members. Then again it has to satisfy the second condition. Overall, 51 should be saying yes. So two conditions has to satisfy. If it is the president, 2/3 of the total means it should be more than 66. 75, not 66. That's it. Then finally, president has to be giving the assent. So procedure is clear. So what is the act that is talking about this procedure? Judges Inquiry Act. In the constitution, what are the two grounds? Proved misbehavior and the incapacity. These are the only two grounds through which judges can be removed. Any judge removed so far? No. Okay. So now the initiation is going to happen for the removal of the judge of the Supreme Court, Burma. So basically, you cannot even discuss the conduct of the judge. Now, if you have the problem, she has a problem with some of the judge, she can't discuss. Okay, only discussion should happen in this way. Only when Parliament has initiated the procedure for the removal, only then you will discuss the conduct of the judge, because that's the autonomy that has been provided to the judge, right? So that is or else there can be any kind of interference by the executive in the judicial thing. So that we have provided this kind of freedom. So you should be very clear with this process. See here, Bunt notes were found. In-house inquiry reportedly found material warranting his removal. prompting Justice Sanjeev Khanna to recommend the removal procedures. Current status, they have initiated. So they are gathering the signatures. So when you read the newspaper articles, so when if you do not have the current affairs on the clarity, so you will not understand the application. So when you understand the application, for you to solve the prelims, you should have the clarity with the basic concepts. And when you read these things, okay, then you will understand the applications, how it happens. So basically in the prelims, you will be able to solve only 25 to 35 questions with 100% surety. Rest of the questions, you will only think this could be the possibility of the answer. That day I have shown you that about the wild ass. Okay, they are talking about some kind of grass. Okay, some kind of salty and marshy region. So with this, you are linking the two aspects. One is geographical aspect, another one is the grasslands area, and then you are trying to link these two aspects. This is how you will be able to answer the questions. Okay, think. You need to think and you need to link the content. Okay. So this is about the first thing. Now see. So 1 lakh crore worth of defense related material has been acquired. So who is going to give the approval? So Defense Acquisition Council is the highest decision making body in the India's Ministry of the Defense regarding the defense procurement. Established in the 2001, it considers the approval of the capital acquisition proposals. Now, who is the member? It is chaired by the Defense Minister and includes key officials like Chief of Defense Staff and 3 service chiefs. That is a major body chaired by the Defense Minister. This will give the approval. Okay, chalo, let's give the money for this. Let's acquire this capital thing. Okay, so they are going to acquire this thing. Quick reaction, surface to air missile. This is indigenously developed. Short range, it would be 25 to 30 kilometers. So basically surface to air missile. Okay, so some drone is entering into India. Okay, so these missiles can be placed over the truck, any moving vehicles, and then suddenly this missile, quick range, quick reaction, spontaneously it can be launched. Okay, so to counter attack any incoming missile threat. This we have acquired. And then another thing is Apache helicopters. In these Apache helicopters, we have made a deal with the USA. So to acquire more than 20. So the first batch of 3 Apache helicopters are going to come in this month, and after 3 months, there will be 3 more entering into the India. So this is a more advanced Apache helicopters. Previously also we have developed this, we have got this Apache helicopters from the USA. Now this thing would be more advanced. So again, see this helicopters, whatever the major component, okay, the major component of the helicopters which we called as a fuelage. Okay. Yeah, the major component which we call as a fuelage, that is being developed by the Tata. It is a indigenous company. Okay, so that's how it is also promoting the indigenous production. Now if you can see here, okay, this will also have the radars. Any kind of countering attack, any kind of system, be it is a kind of aircraft and all, okay, they will have the radars to counter the incoming missiles. Okay, so they are advanced because they are all equipped with proper kind of Hellfire missiles, Stinger missiles. These are the different types of the missiles, laser guided rockets and all, and it will have the proper radar system. This is the most important aspect. Okay, so using these things, so you will be able to do the attack, surveillance, everything. Now they can also, the most important aspect is, here we have to remember it is coming from the USA. And another important aspect is it can fly higher altitudes. Basically helicopters cannot fly very high altitudes. So in India, like say where you have the Himalayas and all, when you have to do cross-border surveillance, cross-border security monitoring. So these helicopters will be very helpful because you will be able to travel very high in the altitude. So these are the some key components. This is a very recent advanced version of the helicopter which can acquire any kind of new technology. In the future, some new radars have developed, some new missile systems has developed. You can easily integrate those systems into this thing. So that's why this is the best versions. That's it, you have to know. So I have given this thing, what kind of defense deal that we have done, and what would be the features, its features. See now, infiltration of the microplastics and the endocrine disruptions chemical systems. So what is this endocrine systems? Endocrine systems are those your that is a system which in your which plays role about the your maintenance of your hormone system. Okay, so it includes your pituitary glands, okay, hypothalamus. So all these things which play major role in secretion of various hormones. Hormones means basically these are the chemicals that will be released into the blood. Okay, so they play the major role in order to decide okay what kind of how you react and all. Okay, so this study says with the rise of the microplastics, these microplastics are very small, very minute. They enter into the bloodstream and they are totally disrupting the hormones of both the genders, male as well as the female. So this is going to destroy the female egg count. It is also going to destroy the sperm count of the male. So it is also going to affect the neurological development of the child. So it has reached to that levels, that very deeper levels in the body. So these microplastics are totally disrupting the hormonal systems. This is going to cause so much problem. When these hormones, see these hormones disruption is a very big problem that is happening. Here the microplastics are playing role. There are so many toxins the people are eating, the people are consuming in terms of the different types of the oils, different types of the food systems. Okay, so there are various studies that are going on. There is early puberty is also happening in the children. Okay, previously if you see the 13-14-year be it a girl or boy child, okay, they used to be look like kids. Now they are looking like a mature kids. There is happening, okay, they are getting huge beard and all, and the girls also well developed, and also 12-13 years voice changing, everything. So early puberty, early aging, all these things, the hormonal disruption. Okay, why this thing is happening? So the way here, the one thing they have mentioned is the toxins, the microplastics that are entering into the bloodstream. Other important thing also, the way of the food system. Currently, we eat all the adulterated chemical based food systems. This is also causing major problems, the chemicals and all. Okay, see another thing that you need to remember here is there are two hormones called the leptin and the ghrelin. Okay, so when we eat any kind of adulterated food or processed foods, there is a hormone in your body called leptin hormone that will get affected. What this leptin hormone says, the leptin hormone, when you eat sufficient, the hormone says it's enough, don't eat much. But when you eat processed foods, this leptin hormone will not be generated. When the leptin hormone is not generated, you will think your tummy is not full and you will keep eating. So with this also, your weight gain, aging, all these things happen. So studies are going on. Why? So next article is also related to this thing. They are going to study aging also within the Indian people. Different people, ICMR is doing that study. Different people in India are aging differently. Some person, okay, even if he's 40, 50, 60, 70, they look fit and young. Some people are they are aging in a very bad manner. They are turning very weak. So what is the kind of changes that is going on in the Indian people, especially in the Indian genetic system, that we are trying to understand, that we are trying to decode. Okay, so here you need to understand the endocrine system is your hormonal system that is getting disrupted primarily because of the microplastic. And another aspect that you need to remember here is leptin hormone. Leptin hormone talks about your food is full. Okay, ghrelin hormone talks about you are hungry. Okay, so these days the rise of the problems of the PCOD and PCOS is also rising. So what is happening there? Again, the hormone, the male hormone called testosterone, this hormone is rising. Okay, the androgen, whatever the androgen that is there, okay, which secretes this testosterone, that is getting disrupted. There is this changes, and why these things are happening? Because of this kind of pollutants, this kind of toxic things that are being released, and processed foods that are going on happening. So this is causing total disruption. So with this, there are so many cases of PCOD. And then here they are talking about there can be the problems of this, even this prostate cancer in the male. Then it can enter into the prostate cancer is also rising in the male. Ovarian cancer, cervical cancer for the female. Okay, so why this thing? Can you imagine the gravity of this thing? So the microplastics are reaching very deep in your body. Okay, everywhere it is contaminated. You are driving the vehicle, you are just inhaling the air. Okay, so we are just inhaling all types of the oxides of nitrogen, sulfur, all the particulate matter, everything, huge amount of dust. And this is not a major concern. Everything, this is not a major debatable topic during the election time period. So all the time election time period, we'll hear, what are those so-called important issues regarding the religion, ideology, those things happening. Okay, but these are the impacts that has to talk about. So what kind of thing, if you see here, the amount of plastic waste that India generates, it is 9.3 million tons of the plastic waste annually. What will you do? This much of the plastic waste annually that is being generated. So even most of the plastic is not even the recyclable and reusable. So if it is a single use plastic, low cost, cheap quality plastic, then the plastic will disintegrate, and whatever the particles that will generate from this plastic thing, so they will enter into the soil. So from there, in our food chain, they may be eroded into very, very small thing. It will not decompose. Whatever the size that is converting into, it becomes very, very small, very, very extreme level. You can even inhale that, and it will not degrade. So it will stay in your lungs. It will stay. It is going to even to the brain. So it is hampering the neurological development. What are the things that we currently have? Plastic waste management rules is the only thing that we have currently in order to handle this thing. So I want you to go through the Google and search about this plastic waste management rules. Sometime when it is in the news, again we'll study. It is very comprehensive. Okay, it is there from the 2016 and all, and every time to time it is getting revised. This is very important. Plastic waste management rule, solid waste management rule, e-waste management rules. These are the three important waste management rules. UPSC has also asked the question, and I have seen similar questions in the TSPSC and APPSC also. Very important. Someday we will deal. But just get the proper picture, the big picture that is happening. Okay, so the necessary action is, so we need to do this safe handling of this thing. So important thing that is mentioned here is endocrine disrupting chemicals. You need to have an idea about this phthalates, BPAs and the PFAS. Okay, so these are some of the chemicals that have been mentioned in this article. See here, this is the Bharat study that is being conducted by the IISc. So they are saying mapping the aging indicators. Why certain people in India, how they are aging. The people outside India, how they are aging. Within the India also, some people are aging in a bad state. Some people are aging in the right state. And 2 days back, okay, I think yesterday itself, we have not done the discussion. Okay, there they were also talking about this COVID vaccines. Is it causing any kind of heart attacks? So people were getting scared about this thing. Vaccine hesitancy might rise. So if the people get that fear, they may not go for the vaccination. Okay, the vaccination drives are very important. So they have done the study. Then they have found out, no, it has nothing to do with the vaccination. And one of the reasons for the early death, cardiac arrest is lifestyles. Okay, again the same thing. So that's why what all we do? Okay, wake up, just study. Okay, if for the relaxation and rejuvenation, watch some movie and again sleep. Meanwhile, so you are all most of you people in the hostels, eat whatever, will feel hungry and eat whatever. So this is, we are all in the hurry and the stress modes. So this is what's said by the study. People are under so much stress and the lifestyle. Okay, these are the two prime reasons for the rising heart attacks. Okay, so you need to be again careful. You need to change the lifestyle, which I am stressing. The major point that you have to take away for you, the thing is being as balanced as possible. Okay, not getting driven by these things. People will put you on the stress. Hey, you didn't clear this thing. Are you not studying this thing? Okay, it might be family, it might be friends, or it might be any of your partners. Okay, so anyone it can be. You have to ignore that thing. You need to take only to the level that is keeping you productive. I'm not saying totally ignore and be lazy and not get it by the, no. You can be always on, but at the same time you are not nervous. Okay, so you have to identify those triggers. If you feel too anxious, you have to calm down. If you feel okay, little bit complacent, lazy, then just remind yourself. Okay, bring it to again to the some mid pace. Okay, this is what it is causing, because this we have discussed already in this here what is meant by the development? The more you consume, the more you spend, then based on this thing, same thing, okay, the more you are spending in the economy, then you are considered as a developer. Okay, so but we should be having clarity what we are doing, why we are doing. We should not take that so-called forms of development, that so-called forms of success into our head. Ignore. Okay, there are all kinds of people, see now for the same thing. Okay, he is a Supreme Court judge. What is the need for him to involve in this thing? Okay, so there are people like getting after into the government services, again they are getting indulged in the corruption. So people somewhere they are not questioning their beliefs. Something you have to question it, you have to stop it. Okay, I got this thing. If the person is considering this thing as something unsuccessful, it is their problem. You listen from this and release from this. Okay, so 90% of the problems are solved if you do not have the ego. Okay, so he'll say to me, okay, I'll show. Okay, not written. Don't make any challenges. Previously also I told you, if parents, your friends poke you, okay, awesome, I will come back. Okay, only after becoming IAS officer. I will not touch anything. I will not marry. Break up. Okay, you will say this to me. Hey, listen from this, yeah, and leave it from this. Okay, after some time, after looking at you, people themselves then they will realize, okay, this is the way to live. They'll understand this guy. Okay, despite whatever be the success and whatever be the failures, okay, there is a kind of balance in that person. Okay, once the people realizes this thing in you, okay, then they will also understand, okay, this is how to live. Okay, so in being that way, you can achieve many things. Or else if you are too attached one thing, okay, if something hits you hard, okay, you will fall down. Okay, there is a recent movie, the Siddhartha movie. It was coming 3 BHK. There was one dialogue in the trailer which I have seen. It was very beautiful. I might fail, I might fall down, I might fail, but I'll keep trying. I'll again stand up. I'll again keep trying. That's the attitude. That's the nature. That is what we have to acquire in us. Okay, we have to develop that thing. It does not come overnight, or it does not happen to everyone all the time. Okay, so we take it. Okay, good dinam, peacekunam. Okay, in that way. Okay, you will take it. Okay, so again you stand up. That's the attitude that is there, that is required, and then you will be at ease, and you will do definitely many things also. Okay, so these are the two articles that I have tried to link about the previous articles also. Keep these things in the mind. Okay, chalo, we'll move to the other. Socialism and secularism in the India's constitution has to be amended. So one of the person from the right wing group, okay, the RSS or any other association, they are saying that these were added through the 42nd Constitution Amendment. So why to keep those things? At those things, there was an emergency going on, so there was no debate and discussion. So many of the things have been included unnecessarily. According to him, without even adding the concept of the socialism and secularism, we already follow those things. What is the need to include these things? So we shall remove it. This is what he says. Okay. So now removing that thing, it's not required. Okay. But for us, using this context, let's understand the concept of the socialism and the secularism. You tell me, what is the concept of the socialism? Essence of the socialism. Socialism means basically the principle says equality, justice. Everyone are getting developed. That's what we discussed about the Kerala. Where overall Kerala, the income levels are not that high. Understand the concept. In the capitalism, the growth will be very high, but there will be huge inequality. So I'm not concerned about you. Okay, you are coming to me, sir, no fees, get out. No, nothing talking to me, pay money. Socialism means, okay, this much you can afford, okay, what we can do, okay, let's speak, let's talk. So there will be there, but it is not guiding this thing. Okay, the ultimate objective is, okay, everyone should develop. Everyone should. So whatever to the best capabilities of everyone's role, so that is what the major essence. So India follows the principle of the socialism, but means are different. We are inviting the private organizations, we are inviting the investment, we follow the capitalistic model, but we have not given the objective of justice. So we have still gone for the land reforms, we have given the labor rights. All these are what are these things? These are the socialistic goals. In order to affirmative action, the social justice yesterday we have talked about. Okay, taxation and also making bringing acts like Food Security Act, MGNREG Act, focusing on the health and education. All these are the socialistic goals. Generally, when we think about the socialistic goals, the thing that comes into our mind is these countries like Russia, China. Now, for them, in order to bring this socialistic object, understand the concept. These are not that easy as they look. Okay, I'm trying to link the political science concept as well as economy. Okay, so for them, the objective is doing the justice. Everyone are the equality. Okay, in order to do this thing, they have achieved a means of dictatorship. Now, in the ultimate objective, the means they have used is a dictatorship. No freedom. Okay, so I have taken her land. She will say, my land, my land. Chapter close. Problem solved. Okay, so this is a democracy. India is a democracy. There, you cannot take away the way you want. There, if you shout, go. Okay, no media, no rights, no fundamental speech and expression, single party. Okay, they will rule. No elections. Okay, if that is their question, so gone. That used to happen in the China as well as Russia. Okay, being the time of the Lenin. Okay, later on Stalin. So their elections, these things, democracy, discussion, debates do not happen. India is a democratic socialism. So our objectives are same. Yes, we will make sure that everyone are getting developed. Equality is ensured. That is a major essence, principle of the socialism. Okay, it emphasizes on the social. Social justice means there is no male and female discrimination. Caste discrimination is not there. Okay, rural, regional. Everyone we are the human. Okay, no religion, caste, everything, everyone are on the equal basis. Everyone are treated equally. That is called the social justice, fairness. Justice means fairness. We have discussed. Economic justice means on economic terms also there is a equality, right? So they have achieved through the dictatorship. Now we have brought this thing in our preamble. We are going to achieve this thing through the democratic ways. Initially, the means that we have achieved, we have tried to achieve this is public sector enterprises. We have minimized the role of the private sector enterprises. So primarily we focused on the PSUs, especially the policy of the 1948. Remember, please, this is the most important concept. 1948, 1956. Okay, later on in the 1980, these are our industrial policies before the 1991. 1991. So this is our scenario. PSUs used to lead. Okay, but we have not totally disallowed the private sector. We made restrictions. If any private sector they have to come, only few areas are allowed. Okay, there was issues of licenses and reservation. Certain categories are reserved only for the public sector. So this was the case till the 1980. We allowed the private sector in a limited manner. Foreign players were allowed. Who will come? Okay, they are saying all these kind of restrictions. They don't used to come. Our goal was same, but democracy we have taken up. But what has happened at this stage? In the 1960s, we faced food crisis. We were not having the food. By the time of 1970s, 1980s, we have discussed this thing in the bureaucracy, in the government job, fixed salary. Even if you work hard, no incentive. Even if you do not work, salary is going to come. So by 1980s, these are facing this PSU started to face loss. If you have the company, if you have to run a company, if you don't put efforts, your company is gone. Only when you put efforts, you will get more and more money, right? If you don't put efforts, gone. So there is a difference with the private sector and the public sector. So from the 1980s onwards, then they have realized, and then they have went for this liberalization. Okay, liberalization, privatization, globalization. Okay, for this they have allowed the FDI. Here they have went for the IPOs. IPOs means this one, the shares. Now they are released it for the public. Okay, they can buy. Liberalization means now whatever the reserved categories are there, they have reduced. Okay, and licenses have been removed only for 5 sectors like smokes, not smokes, alcohol, cigarettes. Okay, there are 5 categories only where they have kept these kind of things, and only this reserved categories are for the atomic energy and the railways. Currently, public sector monopoly is there only in the 2 areas. Atomic sector, you should not forget, I'll ask. Atomic sector and the railways. And the 5 areas where it requires licenses are the, I could not recall, okay, once you need to check. That is in the, okay, there are alcoholic beverages, chemicals, something like this. There are 5 areas where they need licenses. Okay, I'll check this thing, later on I'll tell you. Okay, you can check this. So, like this, they have introduced the liberal reforms. Now from 1999 91 onwards, So we have discussed this thing. BOP crisis here we face. What is BOP crisis? When I say BOP crisis, what does it mean? We have discussed, I think I have discussed the 4th or 5th time this thing. When I discussed about the IMF. Balance of payment crisis, what does it mean? Checks and balances. What is the balance of payment? 1991, what was the crisis we faced? Not aware. Economic crisis, that is. At the domestic level. What else? Trade. For the trading, what do we need? We export. What do we get when we export? In return. Okay. Or else when we export, we get in return dollars. When we import, we have to pay. We have to pay in which currency? Dollars. Here, your industries are not performing well. Consumer industries struggling. You need cars, you need tables, you need biscuits, you need chairs, you need machines and all. Your Indian industries are not producing them. So what will you do? You will, if they are not producing, if you have to go, no, you will import. You are importing, but you are not able to export. So what is happening? So do you have the dollars, sufficient dollars? This is called BOP crisis. You do not have the dollars. Currently, what is the forex reserve we have? How many billions? $650 billion. Okay. You should not forget. We have discussed this thing more than some 3-4 times. Next time, you should not forget. Remember, focus again. So, because of this way, we face forex crisis, dollar crisis, no dollar. Then we have introduced the economic reforms. Because of this thing, new companies started to invest. At that time, when we went to IMF, they gave us dollars. Chalo, low, take it. But they kept various restrictions. You do this reform, you do that thing. Okay, so that's why India got hurt, and I have discussed BRICS Bank as an alternative to this IMF and the World Bank. I have told you. So BRICS has developed 2 main things: Contingency Reserve Agreement and the New Development Bank. This is an alternative to the IMF because they are putting the conditionalities. 3 conditionalities. Clear? You will not forget again, right? Okay. You should not forget. So this is the concept of the socialism, how it has changed. So now we are acquiring more and more private sector, but it does not mean we have changed our objective. Our objectives are again same. We give, previously also we have seen tribal rights. Okay, we are talking about the more affirmative actions. So social and economic justice is still intact. Means might have changed. Previously there used to be a planning commission. They used to say do this thing to achieve that objective. Now we have even removed that thing. Ultimate objective is same thing. So that's why they want to do away with this thing. Clear? If you ask someone, if someone asks you what is socialism, what will you take? What will you say in one line? Social and economic justice. That is a objective. So socialism means always, what is this? Socialism means always it is, there has to be without any kind of freedom. Authoritarianism. So if someone asks you, what will you say? Authoritarianism, is it yes with the socialism? No. Okay. So socialism, social justice, economic justice is a objective. Means you can adopt the democratic ways like the India, democracy and all. Clear? Do not forget. So from this 1991, it is a kind of new economic policy of India. Do not forget, this is a watershed movement, major event. Okay, watershed movement where we have introduced the reforms. So major syllabus thing in your GS3, major they will ask you discuss the new economic policy of India 1991 and its impacts. After that, we have not announced any industrial policy. Whatever the policy that we have announced in the 2011 was a manufacturing policy. Later on, we have made some changes within those things like your Make in India policy 2014. Okay, production linked incentive scheme. The total new industrial policy is not available. So we want and we are going to launch new industrial policy soon that can incentivize, promote the industries. Now, what do you mean by the secularism in the same line? In one line, secularism means that is the one component. In one line, I have to get the essence. India is a secular country. That means does not uphold any particular very good. Okay, so state does not have any religion. State means your government or anything. It does not, as a state itself does not have any kind of religion. It does not support or it does not promote, it does not oppose. They may interfere in the religious aspect on the grounds of morality, public order, health. Okay, for suppose based on your religious affairs, you are marrying twice, thrice, state will interfere. Basis of the religion, you are causing harm. Okay, you are hurting the sentiments of the woman or not allowing entry of the women into the temples. Religion will interfere, or some superstitious things, state will interfere. But state is interfering not to suppress any religion. It is neutral. This is called principal distance. Okay, so in the western form of secularism means one line. Remember, one line. State do not have the religion. All the religions will be treated equally. This is what the line that you have to tell me next time when I ask you. In India, but they will interfere with the same neutral attitude only to reform. When it violates 3 grounds: public order, morality, health. Do not forget these 3 grounds. On these 3 grounds, public order, morality and health, they will interfere. So even before this thing, there is Article 25, Article 26, which says you have right to practice, propagate your own religion. Anything you want to do, you do. So they want to do everything. So using their debate, I have taught you concept of socialism and the secularism. Republic means, in single line, republic means? Good. Okay, elected head. So our head, whoever the head of the state, president, is elected. Okay, so election will be there. Concept of republic means like this. You have to be very clear in single line. Clear? Shall I move? So now last topic. Can the Supreme Court halt the act passed by the state? Yes, they can do if it is violating any constitution. Simple line answer. Okay. So any law, state has passed any law, be it a parliament or the state. Now I find this is violating the principles of the constitution. I have filed a PIL. Only after filing the PIL, very important point. Can the court intervene it by themselves? No. Okay. Some person will file a petition. They are violating the law, something article in the constitution. Then Supreme Court will check its constitutionality. If it is violating that, then it will consider the law as a null and void. In the same way, in the 2011, in this case, very important, Nandini Sundar versus State of Chhattisgarh case, they have passed the Salva Judum law. Okay, that means this area is the area where you have the lot of Naxal activity. So these Naxals basically they hide in these forest areas and they attack. Guerrilla warfare. And whoever the police forces that we send there, they are not used to fight in this manner. So Chhattisgarh government, what they did is they took the arms and they distributed it to the local people. They said, you fight it by yourself. You fight, you attack. And they have named it as a special police force. Then some person filed the PIL in the court. They said, how can these people fight? They will lose their life, or they might use these weapons for some other illegal activities. In India, you are going to give the excess power without the training, without a kind of monitoring. So Supreme Court said, we will strike this thing because it is violating Article 14 and Article 21. Article 21 is about the right to life. Article 14 is about equality. You are providing some extra things, arms to the locals. Okay. Now why it is in the news? Chhattisgarh has passed the law. So someone filed again PL in the court. This is a defamation. Okay. So they are not abiding. Defamation means they are not abiding by the judgments given by the court. So someone filed a defamation, but Chhattisgarh said, we follow the principles set by the court. We have changed the law. Now they are not providing the arms without training. So they have made a legal backing. They are making sure training is being provided and monitoring is there. Checks and balances are there. Okay, and then they will provide the training. So it is not a defamation issue. So defamation is mentioned in Article 19 where under the reasonable restrictions. Okay, you have the freedom of speech and expression, but defamation is one thing. Security, sovereignty, okay, friendly relationships with the other countries. So these are some of the grounds for the restriction of the freedom of speech and expression. Okay. So finally, it is passed. So this is about your act. So that's it. That's all for today. Okay. Please do revise the content. We have discussed so much of conceptual things also. Please revise those things. Thank you.